Salute, salute. The streets are buzzing after the New York Knicks win their fourth Summer League game. Now they're 2-2 for this Summer League. Let's get ready to chop it up. Salute to the best chat in the biz, Knicks Nation. Let's have some fun. Friday night, the New York Knicks put in their best performance tonight, winning 97-89. Got a 23-point lead at one point in the game, but the Boston Celtics came back. They went zone. But the New York Knicks, the story was the Knicks shot the lights out from deep, 44%. And downtown Charlie Brown was the hot player tonight with 27 points. Trevor Keel's best performance as a Knick. Isaiah Roby looked very solid as well. Finished with 17, but led basically a wire to wire. Let's get ready to chop this thing up. We'll talk about the FIBA coming up and RJ Barrett being confirmed for Team Canada. I want to get your thoughts on what do you feel like you want to see from RJ Barrett in this off-season playing for Canada. That's going to be good for him to get those reps in. But yeah, the Knicks basically started out extremely hot, shot the ball from deep, basically were above like 40% for most of the game. Trevor Keels, good to see him, play really well. But mostly Charlie Brown, again, I don't think he's had a bad game. 26 years of age, there's going to be a lot of reactions. Let's lock Charlie Brown up. Let's keep things in perspective. I said I like Charlie Brown. He looks solid. He's got the size, the length, but he is 26 years of age from Delaware. Won the chip in the G League. So I think the Knicks are definitely going to bring him into camp. Would like to see him come into camp. The Knicks play again tomorrow night against the Denver Nuggets. Tonight, Jalen Martin did not play for reasons I haven't heard yet. I think maybe they're keeping him out for load management for tomorrow, or maybe there's a minor injury. Hopefully nothing too serious. But yeah, the Knicks picked up their second dub, moved to 2-2. Not bad for a team that people thought would not pick up a win. The Boston Celtics had Champagny, they had Azubuike, they had JD Davison as well. Salute to the chat, Dirty Dancer, Buzzer Beater. What's good? How you feeling? Dirty says Keels may have bought himself a camp invite, but don't think he is close to a spot at this stage. I think they'll keep him in Westchester, keep him as kind of a younger development player that they're going to maybe have more patience with, which I'll be okay with. We know he struggled mostly for Summer League, but tonight did show that, he's got some basketball skills. He's got to continue to work on it. He's got to continue to get better, but I agree. I don't think he's gonna lock up any kind of spot outside of the G League. Salute Buzzer Beater, let's go. How we feeling? Isaiah Roby and Charlie Brown were the other two standouts. Salute Jerry. He also, it's important to note, like we did last show, Isaiah Roby has been working his way back into fitness. He had a surgery procedure done earlier in the year as well. Tonight he was aggressive. He was getting up and down. He also shot the ball really well. Isaiah Roby is definitely a player I'm looking at who has the potential to lock up a roster spot. The backup four we know is a spot that's open. Whether it's going to get minutes or not, we need to lock someone up just for, in case of, emergency or injury throughout the year. But I liked Isaiah Roby's shooting. I think 6'8", he's mobile. He attacks the closeout, and he can also stroke it as well. So yeah, great point. Like Jerry says, Astral, salute. How we feeling? Yeah, good to be tested tonight with the comeback. I think the Knicks let their foot off the gas, but the zone defense from Boston made things tricky, but a comfortable win in the end. QJ Peterson also gave the New York Knicks an offensive spark, but it was the center, Dynamo Skepinsev, who was very, very solid again. Skepinsev, I think, is going to be a situation where he deserves to be brought into camp. And we'll look at the stats and the box score and all of that. We see we had Melo who was court side, as well as Rosas and Thibs and Leon. Um, yeah, Charlie Brown Jr., just one of his big plays there was the and one as well. He was finishing all over the place. We'll get through the box score in a minute. But we'll just look at some of these highlight plays. Um, what do you guys think about Charlie Brown? You think he's an NBA player? Do you think he's a guy who needs to be locking up a two-way, back and forth with the G League or the big club? I think the fact that he's 26 might play a factor. He's one of the great dimes from Skapentsev as well. He's also an older guy playing professional. He's played professionally, but he flashed some skills. He had 4 dimes at halftime, and we'll look at his final numbers in the box score. But yeah, he's been pretty impressive overall as a sum of this summer league as a 7'1" big man who's got a little bit of post play, but the passing skills is something you really love to see with Skapentsev as well, finding dudes. One thing I'll say, probably the most positive thing with this summer league squad is no one's really gone crazy isolation. There's been a lot of ball movement, a lot of side to side, but we don't really have that great penetrator. But the ball's really kind of flowed like a hot potato. And we'll look at the Knicks had again, I think plus 21 assists for the team as well. Yeah, get Mello. Yeah, I agree with this as well, which is why I preface my statement with Brown. He's looked solid, but you've also got to take that in consideration. Do the Knicks give him a roster spot or bring him in? They've got to consider the age as well, and he definitely should be better than a lot of these kids. What's good, Peter? Peter likes Charlie Brown over Roby for the backup spot. Little bit of a size difference, but if Charlie Brown got a spot over Roby, I won't be mad at that. I think he's 26 still, might have a few years in the league. But I like the Skapentsev guy. What else do we have here? A grown man slam from Isaiah Roby. Yeah, probably the play of the game for me. And this sort of shows the potential that we have in Isaiah Roby. Gets the steal, a 6'8" mobile power forward, can push the break, exactly like what we got with Obi, basically. But Roby plays better defense. I think he's got a more consistent 3-point shot. He's obviously not as athletic as Obi, though. Obviously not as exciting as Obi. But if Roby continues to look better in the summer, he's definitely going to get that camp invite. And I think they're going to make their evaluations based on camp, not what we see in summer league. This is purely for the fans, and coming in. We'll peep some of the stats coming up. As you see, Charlie Brown top scored for 27. We also had him get 7 rebounds. He led the Knicks in rebounds. And he also led the Knicks in assists as well, which was great to see. 5 assists, 7 rebounds, 27 points. Yeah, salute to him. We had Skapentsev with, I think, 5 blocks, which is also great to see on the defensive side. Another reason why he's kind of a guy worth looking at. He could give us offense and a bit of defense too. As an assist, I said 22 assists for the team. That was great. Ball movement was flowing. Charlie Brown was cutting, and Skapentsev was finding dudes. The 12 steals was also a huge standout. Knicks getting after it defensively. Salute to the team. Salute to Dice. And, the defense coming through there from Tom Thibodeau. 7 blocks was also great. I've noticed in summer league it's very easy to get blocks because dudes just tend to force it into the cup, and the help side D comes across and swats the heck out of it with that. But 7 blocks, 12 steals, 22 assists is great. 14 turnovers, limited the turnovers again tonight, which was good. Forced 19 for Boston. The field goal percentage, shot 50% from the field with 44% from deep as well. The best shooting night of summer league. No coincidence, guys. Dude's getting comfortable shooting the ball. Uh, Again, a lot of people overreacted to game one, game two. It's a little different, when dudes get their wind under them, they start to, see the shot go down, all of those things. Uh, Also, yeah, when the Knicks were down 2 games, lost the first two. Now they've won the last two as well. We got one more game tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern against the Denver Nuggets, which will be great. Salute Daniel, Ron, Gerard. Let's go. Knicks are 2-2 in summer league. A lot of people disappointed we didn't get to see Jalen Martin, the other standout from the first 3 games. We'll try to see what the deal is up. Let me know if you guys heard anything. I continue to search to see. I didn't hear any reason why he was out. Perhaps it was management due to the game tomorrow night. So I've seen some people say the Knicks shelved Jalen Martin. He's definitely going to camp. Yeah, we kind of knew that because they were already giving him guaranteed money for 2 years with the two-way spot. So they could obviously cut that at any time. But the fact that they invested in Jalen Martin is great. He's been excellent, scoring the winner in game 3 with that situation and his ability to get to the cup as well. But yeah, ball movement, shooting, defense tonight was the key. Now let's look at the wire to wire. Again, the Knicks started out hot, 31 points in the first quarter. Charlie Brown was on fire, then backed it up with 26 points. The third quarter of doom came in where Boston made their run, putting up 28 in the third, but the Knicks rallied to score 22 in the second late. You shouldn't lose a game if you shoot 44% from three in summer league. That was enough for the Knicks to get it done. Points in the paint. The Knicks dominated 44 again with Skapinsev, Roby, and Michael Foster. Fast break points, by far the best of summer league. 29 fast break points as well. Got out in transition. Defense turning into offense with this squad, as you saw Roby's finish on the break. Of course, Boston never led tonight. The Knicks 23-point, the biggest lead of the evening. And turnovers, limiting it to just 14, which ain't bad considering, what we usually get with summer league. The shot chart, just a look into where the Knicks got their buckets tonight. The shot diet, a lot more 3-point makes. Nothing really in the mid range. The Knicks were getting up and down real quick in transition to either finish or they were getting their shots. And Trevor Keel shot pretty well. Jalen Harris shot pretty well. Also QJ Peterson, Charlie Brown, Roby, Keels. It was a party, basically. Salute J Dragon. Summer League, nothing to write home about. Yeah, absolutely. But it's good to see these kids play well. Good to see them show some signs, develop more. Fourth game have looked the best in summer league, which shows you that they're starting to look better. Yeah, we saw the announcers, Buzzer mentioned that about Skepensev's game. We're starting to see the influence coming through. There's no reason why big men can't start to work on their passing more and develop that skill set. Because you can see over the defense, you could see dudes cutting also can make them get easier buckets. Look out for them. Johnny Davis, what's good? Jerry says Jeffries and Roby makes the roster. Roby has a real shot at Obi's spot in rotation. Yeah, that's exactly how I see it too. Yeah, you're on the money, Jerry. Yeah, Daquan Jeffries, excellent first game. Unfortunately, he picked up that injury, and we haven't seen Jeffries since. But Roby's been better, getting better and better as each game's gone along. and he's deserving. He's been in the NBA 4 seasons. He has a real NBA skill set at 6'8", a 7'2" wingspan. We saw him get into the passing lane, get out in transition, and slam it down twice tonight. So he's got some athleticism. He's got some signs of what Obi brings to the New York Knicks. And I think with more development, he's recovering from that surgery, like people have said. And I think Roby is going to be in with a real shot. Now, is he going to be relied upon in the regular season? I don't think so. Maybe he might get his 9 minutes, 12 minutes. But he's young. He's worth keeping. And we have him right now. D. Cool, salute. Buzzer, we got one more roster spot available at this stage, provided Daquan Jeffries and Roby take up their current roster spots. We got one more spot to fill. Now, Jacob Toppin is not on a two-way spot right now. He's only on a training camp deal. So that's something worth watching. It might come down to a battle for one two-way spot out of Jacob Toppin, Trevor Keels, or Dwayne Washington. It might come down to those dudes. But yeah, the zone, obviously, it's tough to get the mid-range shots in when the other team's going zone. So that's why we didn't really see any middies with that situation. We'll continue to chop up the Knicks' 2-2 performance in the summer league yet so far, but the news dropped yesterday with Team Canada confirming their squad for the upcoming FIBA World Cup as well, which is going to be hot with a lot of Knicks playing. It's good to see the Knicks well repped on the world stage. We can chop it up and also look at what we can expect from like an RJ Barrett, coming into a huge off season as well. The team, it's been a pretty uneventful off season, right? But if the Knicks are going to take that next step, it's going to be a lot of internal development. And we have confirmed with Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Barrett, Evan Fournier, and Rokas are all going to set to play. I think there's a chance Jericho Sims can play with the Dominican Republic as well, which would be nice. We'll see if Karl Anthony Towns plays. The Dominican Republic haven't announced their squad yet, so we wait to see. But there could be more New York Knicks in this upcoming FIBA World Cup, more opportunities to work on their game this off-season, and hopefully bring a hot a play to the New York Knicks training camp coming into September, October, coming up. The FIBA World Cup in late August to early Sept. With Team Canada, right? Solid squad. They basically got everyone except Andrew Wiggins coming in. Dylan Brooks. They got Jamal Murray. They got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kelly Olynyk, Dwight Powell, O'Shea Brissett, Lou Dort, RJ Barrett, right? There's a lot of pressure now on Team Canada, right? Coming in with a big NBA squad. And I think there's an opportunity for Barrett to really get some heavy reps on the ball, which is going to be great for him. Bigger competition in FIBA going up against, he's in the group with KP. He's in the group with Evan Fournier. So that's going to be a great opportunity for him to take it to them and get through the group stage. They got Lebanon is the other team. Latvia, France, Lebanon in the group stage. I can see Canada definitely getting through that group and late into the tournament as well. Hopefully we see a big clash against either France, Australia, USA. Giannis Antetokounmpo status is up in the air as well, so he might not play for Greece. But Spain's going to be there, of course. They're going to be tough to beat too. Yes, Buzzer, salute. Absolutely. Toppin is only on an Exhibit 10 right now. Yep, it was incorrectly reported, and then it was reconfirmed by the beat guys that Toppin is not on a two-way at the moment. He's only been given an Exhibit 10, which is going to be interesting. I think he's going to be in Westchester no matter what, whether it's on the two-way or just as a Westchester guy. They're going to look after him, I think. Hulu salute, what's good? Yeah, having fun this off season. There's a lot of Knicks interest, Knicks news, Knicks talk coming around pertaining to RJ Barrett. What's something that I would, love him to come back a better player is obviously shooting. Shooting off the dribble is going to be big for Barrett. Working on a couple of those go-to moves in terms of back to the basket. He had a little turnaround as well. His floor game, finding guys with the head up, improving his assist numbers as well, and his handle specifically getting tighter is something I'm watching. Those I would summarize those to four things. Yeah, for the shooting, the shot creation, the assisting, and a tighter dribble for RJ Barrett. With no Wiggins, that is a position that would obviously open more opportunities for Barrett to get more looks because you would expect Wiggins to start, but he's not going to start now. So Barrett's going to be vying for minutes against SGA, Dylan Brooks, and Lou Dort. Those are the dudes he's going to be vying for minutes as well. And they'll have their backup guys, Corey Joseph, etc. The shooting is obviously the number one. I would put that at the top. Catch and shoot, shooting off the dribble for RJ Barrett. We know he's 6'7", and the Knicks barely need. They're lacking size at the wing, and we really need Bully Barrett's ability to be a good defender. Obviously, take on the load of guarding the best wings on this team. Quentin Grimes is 6'5", so he's stuck. He's there at the two guard. Bully Barrett is our tallest wing at the moment. So I think RJ Barrett is going to be heavily relied upon as long as he's here, as long as he's a New York Knick. I got high hopes and expectation for Barrett to take another leap. We know how slow he starts the season. Usually, if he starts just pretty well and can be more consistent this year, I think look out for the Knicks to definitely get their 50 wins coming in. Buzzer says, I'm feeling the cap and shirt combo. Appreciate you, fam. Let's go. And what is it going to take for the Tom Thibs to get fired? Who should replace him? I think it's going to take for the Knicks to miss out on the playoffs for real speculation to come. I think if we make the play-in, it might be enough for him to survive. But if we miss out on the playoffs altogether, that would be a significant step backwards, I think, in order for Thibs to be let go. I think in terms of who should replace him, I would like a more, a modernized offense. So, you could look at guys who, are nuanced in that area. I know a guy like Mike D'Antoni's had his time with the Knicks. He's kind of had his go, but a younger guy that's coming up. Jerry says, reading the tea leaves, Josh Hart has already agreed to his 4-year, $80 million deal. First, he left at least $5 million on the table from the Knicks or someone else. Second, he is at risk of injury, risk of getting zip. Yep. I also agree that the deal's done. Yep, that deal's done. And it's just a matter of time, before we get an announcement on that. Recapping the news we talked about the other day, where there is a confirmed report from Yahoo Sports, Jake Fisher, that the Knicks are still engaging teams on trade avenues for Fournier and amenable to doing a multi-team deal. So that could be a smaller deal, or obviously Evan Fournier's salary and a larger deal. It's important to note now that the Knicks are having those, serious conversations about just trading Fournier by himself. We know he wants to be traded. He's went publicly and spoke on it. He's like, I'm getting traded, and I think that's created a bit of pressure for something, because if Fournier comes back into training camp, there's going to be all those questions, and people asking him all about it. It's going to be a distraction. So there was an unconfirmed report, and suggested scenario fans have made with San Antonio, and possibly a swap for Doug McDermott for an Evan Fournier, which would give the Knicks about $5 to $6 million in cap space, which would allow us to sign another guy, and Doug McDermott's salary is coming off the books. So McDermott would purely be a salary filler in order to give the New York Knicks more cap space. So look out for that. Let's see if we end up getting that come to fruition. What are your thoughts if that comes to play? That would give us a little bit of money as well as the biannual to make some plays. Of course, there's good free agents still available. Kelly Oubre, Christian Wood are still out there. The Knicks know that they can create that cap space with Evan Fournier. So whatever they do with this Fournier trade, it's with another move in mind as well. We're not just trading Fournier just for the sake of just trading him. It's either to create room to sign somebody else, or it's to trade Fournier salary for someone else to bring in and hopefully play. I'm looking for the Knicks' consistency to be a strength coming in to start the season as well. I can't wait to see what the Vegas over-unders are at, because the Knicks bring that continuity back, and I think it should help them early in the season. Now, another note is that the Knicks executives, we've seen them in Summer League, Rosas, Worldwide West, Perrin, Thibs, and Leon, been courtside throughout this Summer League, and that means that they're in Vegas. They're meeting with other GMs. They're talking to front offices about frameworks of deals, future frameworks potentially, filling out process, networking, all of that good stuff, just like a conference. So it's great. Yes, Summer League, a lot of these executives don't get to be, in one place at one time, in the corners of these hotels, getting that work in. But it was great to actually see some good ball. Isaiah Roby again, him and Jalen Martin, obviously Charlie Brown have been the three standouts for me, and they should at minimum be all competing for at least a two-way spot. Jalen Martin's locked that up for me. He deserves it. It looks like the Knicks have confirmed that he's going to be on the two-way for 2 years, and they're happy to give him that guarantee, that money. As another evidence, by tonight they sat him out. If you were hoping to see something more in a player, would you be sitting them out? I don't think you would be. I think tonight they wanted to see a little bit more of Keels, probably a little bit more of Brown, and some more reps with Robe as well. Robe and Skep and Sev as well, as we'll go through the box score and talk about it, shout some people out. Yet the chat feels like it would take a little bit, a huge implosion for anything to happen with Thibs. We're kind of stuck with that situation at the moment with his offense. But, every coach was hired to be fired, fams. Well, so at some point, if we reach our ceiling, whatever that ceiling's going to be, Thibs is going to make way for the next guy. But I could see him being here for a few more years at least. Again, JC says don't attach any draft capital with a Fournier deal. 100% agree. And I think the front office has been very patient and diligent with dealing any picks as well, outside of a, a clear aim to open up cap space like they did with Brunson. Buzzer says trade Fournier, 4 picks, even for second rounders, yet we don't want to take on any more salary. Yep, exactly, unless it's more expiring salary, like a Doug McDermott. Doug McDermott expires the exact same time as Fournier and makes $5 million less. So, Jerry wants that swing for Ayton, but I think he's going to stay in Phoenix. Looks like they're happy to run that into the season. But that also means that I think this trade deadline is going to be incredibly busy because the salary situation's coming in at the end of the year. And a lot of front offices are going to try to adjust their books and get some players off as well. So look out for a poppin' upcoming trade deadline as well. So not all the moves got to happen, in this summer. Nick Yak, what's good? Charlie Brown's popping out. Another reason Quickly could go with Fournier. That I think Quickly is still a candidate to be traded 100% in a bigger deal. But I don't see a correlation with Charlie Brown. But I think he could definitely claim one of the two-way spots. He'll be a good investment, in my opinion. And let's get up the box score, and we'll go through the minutes, the stats, take you through who balled out. So yeah, Brown with his 30-minute, he took the game ball as well. Shot 10 of 16, a crazy 62% from the field, and a crazy 5 of 9 from deep, 55%. Shot 2 of 2 from the line, excellent. 7 boards, a team high as well. A team high 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. It's interesting to note Charlie Brown been averaging 2 blocks per game in summer league. Tonight he got the 1 block. Just 2 turnovers, 27 points, was a plus 15 game ball for Charlie Brown downtown. As also Dirty Dancer noted, a 26-year-old with experience should also look good on the floor against these guys. But that's 100% true. But it's also positive to see that he's still showing out. But his all-round game was exceptional tonight. Efficient, tick. Rebounding, tick. Defense, tick. Assists, tick. Scoring, tick. It was basically a flawless game, a perfect game for him. This would have him on the radar of NBA teams, NBA scouts, etc. Tonight, definitely one of the best summer league performances from any player I've seen so far. Like I said, it's one thing to put up 27. It's another thing to pull in the team high rebounds, assists as well, and shoot a crazy 55% from deep on volume as well. Nine attempts is volume and some as well. Charlie Brown, speaking of, Nikki B from Harlem, salute. Thoughts on possible PJ to the Knicks? PJ Washington. Yep. I think that would be a fit. Let's see what happens, because I don't think, that move's still to come. The Hornets still got to decide. They've got Miles Bridges coming back as well. I like PJ's game. IQ is a done deal. 4 years, 80 to 88, Jerry says. I think the Knicks will extend quickly. I do think that's coming. We'll extend Josh Hart. We'll extend quickly. But we could also still use quickly salary in a future trade too. So yeah, that's all the flowers to Charlie Brown. Let's see if he plays tomorrow night. They might just sit him out now. Let Keels, let Roby dominate tomorrow night against Denver. we'll see. We'll see. I know he'll probably want to play. Um, Maybe they've given him some kind of assurance or contract. Remember, guys, if you suddenly see a player just sit out, it's generally because their money situation's been guaranteed, or they've got a wink wink handshake agreement kind of thing. It could be from another team as well. So if the Knicks got to act quick, like they don't have Charlie Brown's NBA rights. Charlie Brown could sign with whomever he wants. So if his agent gets a telephone call from I don't know, he's with the Delaware Philly team. So they might say, hey, we're going to lock you up with a two-way. Would you want to play summer league again? Or if a team's given you a guarantee, it's a wrap. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow night. I think there will be plenty of teams looking at Charlie Brown for a two-way spot. Given this performance, man, it pops off the screen. Another situation is Isaiah Roby. For me, another guy who's been 4 years around in NBA experience, played 30 minutes as well. Very efficient, 66%, and a 1 of 1 from deep, 100%. 4 of 6, got to the line, a team high 6 free throw attempts, which is great. 2 assists, 5 rebounds, a block, a steal, plus 15, 17 points. Solid performance all around from Isaiah Roby. Has looked better and better as the summer league's gone along. The 3-point shooting has been big, but as they say, he's clearly been rehabbing and working on his fitness, as you see by plays like this. A big man pushing the break. He's got a good handle for a bigger guy. Exactly what you kind of need in a mobile forward. He could play the 3 or the 4. Look at his crazy long arms. I had to double take when someone told me he had a 7'2" wingspan, but now I see it. It's just because he's 6'8". It's not as noticeable until you really look just how long his arms are. His arms are below his knees when he's dribbling, man. But yeah, good defense. I stuck with it on that one. The Knicks were getting after it. Another steal here in the passing lane. This was Trevor Keels getting out on the break. Picked up a lot of steals tonight. But yeah, Boston was slow coming out of the gate. The Knicks took advantage. So I would love to see Roby more tomorrow night too. Let's say if Jalen Martin is shut down, Charlie Brown might be shut down. Isaiah Roby's still vying for, a spot, but I think the true evaluation is going to come in camp for Isaiah Roby. The Knicks already have him on a regular roster spot with guaranteed money at the moment, so they could easily cut that. They did sign him towards the end of the season, remember, before the playoffs, and the Knicks signed him. He was playoff ineligible, but they were that confident, and they gave Roby guaranteed money. Yeah, tonight he definitely flashed NBA skill set. I think Roby is someone who brings that skill set that this roster clearly needs to. I mean, I would like a Taj Gibson as a dependable backup for, but at the end of the day, he's at the very, very last legs of his career, if he's got anything left. A younger guy that can push the break and do those things that Isaiah Roby can do is exactly what you want to invest in, I think, moving forward. And just worth seeing if, you can continue to develop what he brings. 4 seasons in the NBA. So that's experience as well. He's just been in and out with injuries and inconsistencies. We're still waiting on the Dame, James Harden, a penny to drop, fam. Yep, that's holding up the league. Portland look like they're willing to drag this out, as they should, I think. Get the best deal, you know. Don't just give him up to Miami just for the sake of it. We're early in the off season. Let's let's drag this out. Let's see what they can get from Miami. Um, they shouldn't get away with just giving up a couple of picks, and a couple of salary fillers. It should be a lot more, but it's complicated. They've got to get other teams involved, I think. But I do think James Harden is on the move. Dirty salute. If you're gonna have Brunson in the backcourt, you kind of need to pair him with a Grimes type a lot. Yep, Grimes or IQ, a solid on-ball defender, as we saw it work. So I don't think we got to tinker too much. But yet you're on the money with shooting, with defense as well to space the floor. Um, I think that's where the Knicks go to that next level. We know what Brunson and Randall do together, but if they're playing with a floor spacer, it's scary hours for the other squad because floor spacing opens up. You can't double Brunson, you can't double Randall. If Grimes is on his game, if RJ Barrett's swishing, that's when you see the New York Knicks offense go to that next level. So yeah, it's going to be very, very important. Yeah, quickly brings the shooting as well. It's just unfortunate, man. He had such a disappointing playoffs, but we'll see if he bounces back, if he gets that chance with the Knicks in his third playoff run. Danny, salute. How are we feeling after this? What stood out to you? If you've seen any of the summer league, Charlie Brown and Roby stole the show today. Michael Foster, I've given my thoughts on him. He's a training camp, summer league, G League body. He's had some flashes. Looks like a solid mid-range shooter, but clumsy, a little bit clumsy with the hands and around the bucket. Also with Jalen Harris, a little bit clumsy at times, limited with shot creation. Shot the ball decent again. Basically, the whole squad did. But Jalen Harris, nothing's popped for me. Nothing showed out for him to even get a training camp squad. But let's see what he does. We might see him around sometime in the future. Now, Trevor Keels was 7 of 10 from the field, which is positive, 4 of 5 from deep as well. So I don't know where the shot suddenly came from, but Trevor Keels was stroking it tonight. He was stroking it 80% from deep, got to the line 3 times. So 20 points, plus 19, salute. 1 turnover only, which is probably the best thing, to just have 1 turnover. 3 assists, 3 rebounds. So have you guys changed any of your opinions on Trevor Keels? From the question a lot of people were asking, what does Trevor Keels do well? Does he even do anything well? The guy has had a couple of solid performances in a row, so maybe that slander is going to quiet down a little bit. I don't see an NBA player. Nothing's changed on that front. But is Trevor Keels at 19 years old worth keeping with Westchester? Keeping on a 2-way spot? I could still see that. A lot of players need extra time to develop, time on the ball. Was I happy with the pick? I wasn't really happy, but it was a second round pick. If a guy turns out to be a rotation piece from a second round pick, that's usually a win. We picked up Deuce, we picked up Jericho Sims, and those guys are paying it off in spades with their rotation play. We missed on the Trevor Keels one so far, but these last 2 games from Keels has let us know that there might be something that the organization likes. He's not a point guard. He's better as a combo guard, but playing off ball. He could slash some okay. Hopefully he gets in better shape because he needs to. But tonight you saw the shot, shot the ball decent as well. Maybe he got with a shot doctor or something. um, but let's see if Keels plays tomorrow night and can have 3 solid performances in a row. More of the same for Marcus Garrett. Only 13 minutes. He was solid defensively, but I don't like his tunnel vision at times. I noticed on more than one occasion Marcus Garrett trying to go isolation with when Isaiah Roby was all by himself. So I would like to see Garrett improve upon that, but he looks more like a defensive kind of guy as well. He just had 1 assist tonight, 2 points. So yeah, very quiet night for Marcus Garrett, a smaller guard. The other standout though was Dimitro Skapantsev, 22 minutes. The big man was excellent in the first half. He was laying dimes to his teammates, making easy plays, seeing over the defense. He had 4 assists at halftime, and then he didn't get a single assist in the second half. But 5 rebounds, 6 points, +3. Skepantsev, he's a dude that looks like a guy worth bringing into camp. He has a mid-range shot. He flashed a nice baseline J. But you got to love the assists. You got to love a big man that can pass the rock. We got one in Isaiah Hartenstein, but just another dude who can come in who's 7'1", can protect the rim a little. Is he an NBA player? He doesn't really look like it at this stage, but someone who can be on a 2-way or Westchester, 100% for me. Now QJ Peterson, he's a high volume shot taker. He was very inefficient, -15 tonight. Probably the smallest dude on the court. So yeah, that was the situation. Yep, with the box score tonight. Killer salute. Been talking about that big man since day one. Yeah, appreciate you. Let's see what happens with him. You know, he can hold his head up high with what's happened. You know, with his play. But yeah, Charlie Brown has certainly created some waves in this summer league, and I think he's going to be getting a phone call, or his agent will be. He's with the New York Knicks summer league team, but he's not connected to the Knicks big squad at this point. He's free to sign with whoever he likes. So yeah, 27 points. We'll see. You know, summer league. But when you're 6'6", you can glide like Clyde, and you can move around like he does. Finish on the break. He was good defensively. He's averaged 2 blocks coming in to tonight. So he's not just a flashy offensive guy. You know, he could get you steals. He could play solid defense. He's a little thin for a 26-year-old. I like to see him put on more muscle. But for me, he's definitely worth a 2-way spot. I know Keels is 19. This guy's 26. But I would give a 2-way spot to Charlie Brown over Keels. I will give one to Jalen Martin, of course, and the other one to Jacob Toppin. To those 3 men. To me, Daquan Jeffries and Isaiah Roby have done enough to earn a back-end roster spot. And then you give the 3 2-ways to Jacob, Jalen Martin, and Charlie Brown, I think. And we'll see what happens with Keels. If Keels just wants to play with Westchester, he can. Yeah, Keels continues to divide the fan base. I think the fact that we use the draft pick on him and the expectation is high, fam. Again, we turned Deuce McBride, we turned Jericho Sims, the 58th pick, into a solid NBA rotation player. So when fans see that a guy like Trevor Keels was pick 40, 42, and it hasn't produced yet, But yeah, that's the ratio. You might hit on a few, and you might whiff on a few, I think. But he's young, like you said. A salute to the chat, Mike and Drizzy. What's good? Knicks won today. We can move on from Keels and not skip a beat. Yep, I'm thinking the same thing. Now, he's still young. He can find himself in the G League trenches. But to me, we've already had him on a two-way for a few years now. It's time to make way for, for I would say a talent upgrade. Nothing against his character, nothing against his age or anything like that. Just a talent upgrade. We've seen Jalen Martin, Charlie Brown look better. Keels is our G League RJ. Nice one. Yeah, he's just happy to be here. Look, he's fulfilled a lifelong dream. He heard his name on draft night. We see Melo there, court side. You never know who you're going to run into in Summer League. This was by far Keel's best move. Look, I never thought I'd see him cross somebody up as well. That was a straight, nasty crossover. Pulls up. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, that's what the Knicks are seeing. People ask him, what do they see in Trevor Keels? He must be doing something in practice. If he does more moves like that, he might stick around. Of course, the Knicks play tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern against the Denver Nuggets. It'll be the final game of New York Knicks Summer League ball. 2-2, far from embarrassing. Given the fact that Jalen Martin was out tonight, Charlie Brown picked up the slack with Roby and Keels. Looks like Martin's been shut down by all reports by the club. Let me just look up the latest and refresh to see if there's been any other news about Jalen. A lot of people tuned in tonight to see him after he pulled out the winner against Orlando. But yeah, he's definitely coming into camp. CBJ Skapensev should get a two-way. Should get a training camp. I think Jacob Toppin will get that two-way. I'll tell you why. Because we need size. We need wings still. Jacob Toppin is 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". One of those sizes, and I think, I think that's an opportunity for Jacob to see what he can bring to this team on a two-way. Yeah. And Drizzy says, let's be real, if the screen wasn't there, he would have passed the ball. Yeah. He's big screen set there. But he had to do something. His best move in 2 seasons. Best move that I've seen as well. Yeah. Yeah, what's good? Yo, what's up? I just joined. Appreciate you coming in. Yeah. What's good? How are we feeling? Let us know how long you've been a Knicks fan when you come into the building. You guys let us know. Diehards as well. I'd love to know how long you've been a Knicks fan for. That way we could chop up, what era and what's taken your heart, what's taken your eye with this situation, right? We're all diehards here chopping it up after a summer league win and a busy off season coming in. If you're a hoops junkie, you'll be happy that a lot of New York Knicks are going to feature in the World Cup, in the world stage, right? The Knicks will have 3 of their top, I would say, 6 players in in FIBA with Barrett, Josh Hart, and Jalen Brunson, right? 3 dudes who'll be doing a lot of minutes and starting for us this year. But I think the chances that we'll see RJ Barrett play a lot of minutes is very high. Now, the fact that Andrew Wiggins ain't with Canada, but they've got Lou Dort, SGA, Dylan Brooks, a lot of talent on that team. Canada have always been underachieving. I think this is the year they got to do something from their vantage point. They're bringing in a loaded squad with NBA experience. We'll see how Jamal Murray looks after winning the chip. See if he's had a lot of partying in him, or see how serious they take it. They're up against France and Latvia. Kristaps Porzingis, Rudy Gobert, Evan Fournier in Group H. We have Team USA as well. Team USA coming in pretty loaded too. I think for a World Cup kind of squad. It's not the Olympics year. Next year the Olympics are going to bring out the stars with the squads, probably with guys like Dame, guys like Anthony Davis, maybe even LeBron before he retires. LeBron might want to pick up a couple more gold medals. Let's see. But I think this squad's good for the Knicks because we're going to see Hart and Brunson feature a lot. We're going to see them maybe do some recruiting. We've got Jaren Jackson Jr., Brandon Ingram, Mikal Bridges. Should the New York Knicks squads be doing some recruiting coming up, especially if they play well together? That's going to be nice to see. Brandon Ingram's long been a favourite player of mine in terms of a target for the Knicks coming in. Good to see him playing for Team USA. Mikal Bridges, I don't know, in terms of like what's made people change their opinion so much, but he's getting so much love, Mikal Bridges, around the NBA that, if reports are true, Brooklyn won't trade him for 4 first-round picks. Like, to me, that's surprising. I know he's 3-and-D wings don't grow on trees, but let's keep it a buck, right? If a team offers me 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, provided they're all unprotected, I swing that trade immediately, especially if I'm rebuilding. Yeah, appreciate you, Andrizzi. Too long. CT, I've learnt to deal with heartbreak because of the Knicks. That's a long time. Let me guess. That lets me know that you've definitely been a fan since the 90s, I'm going to say. Possibly late 90s, at least. Let me know if I'm correct. Jalen being shut down after 3 games says more about Keels than it does about Jalen. Yep, that's true. I think they want to see more from Keels. Yeah. What's good, Chef? They'll battle it out at camp, but doubt the Knicks let another team pick up Brown. Yeah, that would be disappointing if they want Brown, knowing that they've given him a summer league platform to show out and do what he's doing. They trusted him. They gave him the shot. My thing is he's 26. He's turning 27 in March, I think. So it's not long before he's going to be 27, fam. Some point next season, but it's still well below 30. If they believe he's a guy who could maybe get towards the end of the bench in the NBA and help, then I would do it. If they think that he's probably never going to help us in the NBA, maybe it's worth letting him go because of his age. Yeah, we got Toppin Jacob listed at 6'9", but I don't know about that yet. We got to see him in action too. We will see him in camp too. I think Jacob Toppin on this summer league team would have added a lot more excitement. Would have got people watching more. Especially after the latest Obi trade and that situation. But my opinion on Jacob is he's a better two-way player in terms of he looks more fundamentally sound defensively. The shot is not as good as Obi's. The athleticism is not as good, but the mid-range, he's got a little floater. He's got more, I think, finishing around the bucket. He's got more of an edge over Obi, but different kind of player. Different player. Still exciting. Still got hops, like the Toppin brothers. Hulu's been a fan since you were 6, following actively and seriously since you were 13. 49 now. A salute. Yep. That's why we're the best fans in the world. All right, not a lot of winning, but still, in our eyes, this is the best team, and we're going to get there hopefully soon. But a lot of ups and downs for sure. Yeah, we're heading into a better era for the New York Knicks now. Kerry, salute. What's good? Kills, not the answer. Camp invites for you should be Brown, Jalen Martin, and Skip. Baby Joker. Yeah, I feel like it's definitely going to be Jalen Martin. On the two-way, he's got that money. I do think Isaiah Roby. I think, yeah, Skip and Sec. Definitely, like you said, the Baby Joker. Killer, what's good? Charlie Brown was undrafted. Good question in terms of what school he was from. I know he's been around the G League a minute. He's actually bounced on some NBA teams as well. Chef lets us know it was St. Joe's. Yep. Roby's just not in game shape. Definitely agree with that. But he's had some good finishes on the break. I'll find that one where he finished in traffic, which was good. But I'll bring this one up first, which is the Baby Joker with Skapensev diming. Yeah. See, look at this. Not a lot of big men have got that kind of feathery touch. Skepensev's been a pro for a minute as well. Puts the ball on the deck. He's actually been trapped too, so looks like there's nowhere to go. He finds a way out. That's patience. That's experience coming through with that one. Now this is the grown man slam from Roby, like Kerry says, working his way into game shape as well. He's had that injury. And Kerry's not giving up on Roby. Absolutely, facts. Yeah. To me, he's more polished out of all the two-way players we've brought in, potentially. That's including Ferron Hunt. That's including the San Antonio dude, Luka Samanic. To me, those guys were like a prayer or a fringe of making it. But Isaiah Roby's had a 30-point game in the NBA with OKC. He's had a 26-point game over the Joker over Denver as well. He's only 25. To me, the wingspan, the ability to put the ball on the floor, and the shooting is something you gotta keep. You gotta work with that. You don't find those dudes a lot. A 6'8" guy that can push it and can shoot as well. Now, yeah, defensively, he's not solid defensively. Is he worse than Obi? He's definitely not worse than Obi defensively. So we're not really losing anything anywhere in terms of defensively. But Roby's, I would say, more more polished offensively. Toppin's more athleticism and more excitement. But Roby's more fundamentally sound, I feel. Definitely, I agree with him coming in and getting either the back end of the roster spot. But let's see if he plays tomorrow night. That would be great. Yeah, I think that's also why they gave Jacob the training camp deal only, not a two-way yet, because the fact that they want to see some more, and I think the fact that he hasn't played summer league also opens the door for him to find his way to Westchester. Chef asks, do you think if J Mart didn't get injured, he would have been drafted? Seems to have much upside, and I feel for the game to go undrafted. FYI, I heard he's a gym rat. Yeah, that's a great question. I think it was a bit of that. I think the injury. Uh, I would say this is my honest opinion. I think it's more overtime elite, the program he came from, among scouts, executives. It's not yet as trusted as a showcase. People know college ball is a lot more competitive. So let that be a lesson to young kids. If you want to improve your draft stock, the NCAA, the college system is still your best chance at hearing your name called on draft night. Um, Another case in point, Jan Montero, uh, 2 years ago with OTE, he was touted as a first round talent, and he slipped to be undrafted as well. So I know his agent later in the second round requested he go undrafted, so that could be another factor. But I think, yeah, definitely it's OTE is not trusted yet. But having said that, the outlier with Jalen Martin was that he was a standout with OTE. So on one hand, you could not trust OTE, but if you're a standout in OTE, then you could be still worth taking a chance on. Um, to me, with Jalen Martin, is he also showed out in the OTE playoffs. He had his best games in the final three playoff games, where he scored he averaged 26 points, shot the three ball decent, but shooting is not his strong set. It's defense, it's driving, passing, and finishing. Uh, yeah, I think his finishing is something that's underrated with Jalen Martin. We saw it last night. A 19-year-old skinny kid ability to take the contact and still finish is something we haven't seen some of these other prospects yet able to do. Uh, Bang USA, what's good? Roby over the minimum vet on a free agent market. That's the tough question, I think, too, because it depends what veteran. I think in their eyes, if it's Taj Gibson, I think they're going to trust him more than Roby. Oh, specifically Thibs. We know Tom Thibs is gonna rock with his guy over Roby. Maybe there's enough spots to go around. The Knicks still have the 15th spot to fill, and that's with Jeffries and Roby on the squad as well. Uh, Everything's still in flux, basically. I know everyone want to kind of finalize our roster, but best believe the Knicks are still looking into a Fournier deal. They might do that swap for Doug McDermott, open up more space, and then sign, um, a Kelly Oubre or sign another veteran, Gorgie Jang, someone like that. They might be looking bigger fish with Christian Wood, PJ Washington. Um, Yeah, Salute Ghetto overseas is also, yeah, you could put that ahead of college in terms of being pro. Yeah, it's been a little hit and miss with some overseas programs too. The NBL has produced some players, also, but it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. You know, a lot of people don't keep up with all the leagues. I think if you're a fringe second round talent, I think playing in college is still going to get more eyes on you, kind of thing. Uh, like Trevor Keels kind of had a solid freshman season, and then uh, yeah, it's interesting how the Knicks, what the Knicks felt about Keels at 42. Uh, so far, it hasn't looked like a great pick, but I haven't heard of any names after 42 that are really popping as well. You guys let me know. Did the Knicks, who did the Knicks miss out on by selecting Keels? Um, I'm not following the second round as closely. Um, Jeffries, I think, has done enough after one game. He's already been on a regular roster spot too, so I think he's most likely going to keep hold of a spot. Um, but also, a lot of decisions are going to be made in training camp with all of these guys. You could you could turn an Exhibit 10 Toppin into a regular spot if he shows out. You could easily slide Roby from a regular roster spot back to a two-way. You could easily give Jalen Martin from a two-way to a main roster spot. Yeah, you could do a lot of that, shuffling after training camp. Also, like we've seen famously in the past with John Starks, an injury, knock on wood, but an injury in training camp could change everything. You guys may not know, but in the, John Starks, it's famously talked about in a documentary. But yeah, the Knicks were on the verge of cutting John Starks when they first brought him in that training camp. It's kind of crazy, but John Starks, his confidence, showed through. He tried to jam it over one of the big men. I can't remember if it was Patrick Ewing or somebody. Starks went up in training camp. It's like, I'm here to prove myself. He went up, tried to slam it, hit the hardwood, got injured, and because of the rules in the CBA at the time, once a player in training camp picked up an injury, you were unable to cut them. So as fate has it, the New York Knicks, it was destiny. The New York Knicks were supposed to have a John Starks on their team, because what would have been, they would have cut John Starks the minute he got injured. He was no use to them, but they ended up keeping him. They were patient with him. He worked his way back. His first season, he impressed. He got some rotation minutes. He came in that famous game against Michael Jordan. Came in and picked him up, D'd up, and got in MJ's face. And the rest is history after that. John Starks made a name for himself after that in training camp, after picking up that injury. So yeah, injuries are a key and a given, yet with all squads. That's why you need depth. That's actually why Knicks fans are not wrong for chopping up Roby, chopping up Martin, chopping up Brown. A lot of fans don't care, but a lot of wise fans understand that, 82 games, some of these dudes might be called upon at some point. I mean, we did use Obi Toppin a lot through the regular season. I mean, there were games he played, upwards of 15 minutes. We're not just going to get through a 82 game season without somebody that could fill in, somebody that can rebound, shoot, take some minutes. And I don't want Julius getting to the postseason, banged up. I mean, what good is that going to be for the New York Knicks again if we win 52 games and we end up making the fourth seed, third seed, and Brunson or Julius Randle comes in with an Achilles soreness or another ankle roll or something like that. So yeah, please Thibs, I'm looking at, I know his offense isn't going to change, but use the depth on this team in the regular season, please. I know people talking about 9-man rotation. I want to see a 10-man rotation. Heck, even an 11-man rotation sometimes, because we've got Sims, we've got Deuce, we've got these guys that can come in, mop up duty if it's a blowout, etc. Or at the very least, man, protect your big dogs. Protect. You could sit Randall a little bit more, sit Barrett, sit Brunson a little more as well if we're still in the game. 35 minutes is enough. 34 minutes. Yeah, Mike, that's a good point. That's a running joke as well with PJ Washington. A lot of people think he's older. Well, he's still young. A lot of these guys were drafted. In fact, I'll stir something up. A divisive former New York Knick is only 24 years of age by the name of Frank Ntilikina as well. Yeah. Obi Toppin is 1 year older than Frank Ntilikina. Let that sink in. People will be saying that about Kevin Knox still. When you draft these dudes that barely turn 18, they could be in the league 6 years before they even turn 24 as well, which is crazy. They're coming in a bit too raw with that situation. But this is a guy this Skepinsev guy, right? This is another tale where if you do go overseas or you continue to work on your game, you could find yourself in the league, like, later down the line. If you got a skill set like that, passing, you could shoot the mid range. You're 7'1". Size never goes out of style. If you're a true 7'1" and you can move like a proper athlete, you're coordinated at the very least. You could find yourself on a summer league team, maybe better than that as well. Now, I've seen many stiffs look worse than Skapinsev. He does look coordinated at the least. How is he going to look against proper pros? In training camp, all of that could be different. Remember, we used to have that guy, Jerome Jordan. Do you guys remember Jerome Jordan? Was like 7'3", crazy length, but he just never looked coordinated. Did Jerome Jordan? I think that was around the Melo years. Yeah, that's just one example. The Knicks have had a lot of different big men. Knicks won today. Keep Scaps around. Yeah, keep Scaps. You can get into some scraps. Maybe get under some dude's skin as well. We play tomorrow night. Let's see if we can put a stamp on this. Some of these players can. It's finishing better than it started. The New York Knicks Summer League squad looked like trash in the first overall in the first 2 games, but more positive signs now with some dudes, some signs of dudes possibly making the roster or 2A spots locked up. Knicks one today also says Brown is showing solid 3-and-D abilities. I like what I saw from Roby tonight on the hustle and the grind. Yep. Yeah, it's no coincidence. You look better with more reps, more conditioning. With that said, yeah, Kerry says Roby dunked on 2 guys, something Obi never did. I think Obi's. I don't know if you guys been to a game live, but one thing I've heard from some fans is that Obi isn't as big as reported, or is I don't know if he was reported as a true 6'9", true 6'8", but a lot of beat writers have said to us as well he's very slim as well. He's a tweener. So in terms of size, there's been conflicting reports about Obi's size. His hops is never in question. He could hop, but yeah, his ability to finish over dudes is more difficult without the size, the muscle. Roby is a real 6'8", but 7'2" wingspan is something big you could see. Jacob Toppin looks longer than Obi, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Jacob Toppin's somebody who also has hops, but not quite as big, but has a more ability to finish around the cup. He has the floater game. I think he has a softer touch than Obi. Obi's obviously a more power dunker finisher with that. But yeah, I was surprised they've only given Jacob a Exhibit 10 training deal. I think he has a chance to get the 2A spot. I really do. Out of Jalen Martin and Jacob Toppin, a lot of scouts had Jacob Toppin higher than Jalen Martin. So if hypothetically, if Jacob was playing Summer League he might be the name that we're all talking about right now. So, it was an opportunity missed out. But I hope the young man's healthy. I hope it's nothing serious. Like, it's just something that uh, made him miss the summer league, but he could hopefully come into camp healthy. Um, yeah, salute Prezi. What's good? Nick Yak says Little Toppin has a midi too. Yeah, that's something I've seen. Yeah, he's got the ability to finish near the bucket with a floater and a little midi as well. But yeah, in terms of FIBA also coming up, I want RJ Barrett to really get an opportunity to grow his mid range. I said this last night on the show. If you're not a true 3-point sniper, it would benefit your game to always start with the mid range area and work your way back. Just shoot the free throws all day, every day. Shoot 10-footers, 15-footers. Work on your mechanics and work on getting into a rhythm. And then as you progress, work your way back out. But this day and age, everyone want to start shooting threes straight away. They don't seem to care if you shoot 31%, 28%. That's a black mark on your game. Wouldn't it be better to shoot more efficient from the 2 and then start, shooting the 3 more? That's just the way I see it. I know the Knicks teams play zone on the Knicks a little, so I understand, getting that mid-range shot off is not as easy as it looks. But RJ Barrett's quick enough to get separation or get around the pick, and I think at times he could rise up and just pop the midi instead of barreling into traffic or trying to finish over a couple of big men as well. We know Barrett's adept at drawing the fouls, but I think, shooting the mid-range is something that's going to be good for the floor spacing. With that said, what else is going to be good for Barrett in this FIBA thing? Think about, he's going to be going up against the likes of Dylan Brooks in practice. Lou Dort, the Dortcher chamber. He's going up against these 2 dogs, and they're dogs. Dylan Brooks and Lou Dort on the defensive side. He's going to be competing with minutes for those dudes. He's obviously going to be competing for minutes with SGA as well. SGA is going to be the feature of this team with Jamal Murray. So I don't see RJ getting any minutes at the 2 unless it's off the bench when SGA is on the having a seat. Yeah, if you're Canada, you got to start with Murray, and you got to start with SGA as your 1 and your 2. If I was them, I would probably give Barrett the starting look at the 3 over Dylan Brooks or Lou Dort. What do you guys think about that? Would you start with Murray, SGA, and Barrett? Or would you go with Dylan Brooks or Lou Dort? They might need Barrett scoring off the bench. They might need Brooks or Dort's defense to complement the starting lineup. That could be something. But I think just based on talent alone, I think Barrett should have a chance to start at the 3 for this team. Yeah. Hulu says, I hope RJ picks up a lot from Shai in camp, from Shea. Yeah, 100% agree with that. He's going to learn a lot. Think about it, just a different environment, different program, different coaching. Let's start with that. It's always a good thing to hear from a different coach, different system. What are Knick fans, what's the conversation going to be if RJ Barrett looks like an absolute beast for Team Canada, averages 23 points per game, shooting on 39% from 3 with floor spacing? What's Knicks Nation going to be saying after that? If that happens, So it's going to be good to see RJ Barrett in a different system, different coaching, playing against, future Hall of Famers, potentially Jamal Murray, Shea, playing against, with that talent as well. No disrespect to Brunson and Randall and that, but yeah, Jamal Murray and SGA, are on another level. Um, Another level. Also, they got Kelly Olynyk, who is a big man that can shoot, so he could stretch it a little. I don't know if he's going to start or not. Uh, O'Shea Brissett. Canada's got an opportunity to make some noise, I think. Yeah, word. That's a good point too. Yeah, I forgot about that. You got Steve Nash, and I think you've got his father as well, who's the VP. Yeah, I think Dylan Brooks could be a better lineup for them coming off the bench too. That way he could get all of his ish and some out of the way, and he could do some things. Yeah, but all eyes basically will also be on the Team USA and the squad that they're bringing in, because yeah, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, the Knicks haven't been in this situation. I think as long as I've been a fan, I can't remember two major Knicks pieces being a part of Team USA at the same time. I mean, it was either usually Melo by himself, or it was Patrick Ewing in the early days. Um, but to have Josh Hart and Brunson at the same time is something that us Knicks fans I haven't experienced yet. So, Summer League will be done. Maybe we got our more roster situation sorted by August 25th. We got Evan Fournier, still the forgotten man, who's playing also. Uh, Victor Wembanyama is not playing, but they've still got their squad with Rudy, with Nick Batum, Frank Ntilikina is on that team. Giannis' status is still up in the air with Greece, but I think the Joker is going to play. I think Luka's playing. KP's playing. Germany got Franz Wagner and his brother playing. Finland got Lowry playing with them as well. Spain are a little weaker than usually. They got Billy and Juancho Hernan-Gomez. Still got Ricky Rubio with those guys. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Chef says I'm actually excited for this one. Yeah, it's the World Cup's not normally known as being as big as the Olympics, but I think it's perfect timing because I don't know if football started at that stage, but it's basically going to be the NBA off seasons a wrap, summer leagues a wrap, and it's going to be if you want to watch some hoops, that's going to be it, basically, with some big Knicks names. Yeah, yeah, they love Barrett up in there in terms of Canada. He torched Team USA, I think, in one of the under-19s or under-17s. That's where he came up. Yeah, so a lot of these teams are going to be solid on any given night. Uh, I mean, unless you're Team USA, these other teams shouldn't take anyone lightly because the the pace of the game is different. The rules are different. It's a little crazy. Is FIBA 40-minute games? It's up and down non-stop. Quick substitutions. Athleticism is big. You can swat the ball off the rim. A lot of passing and a lot of fouling as well. I noticed they call the fouls a lot, um, which is going to be interesting to see how physical they let that one become. But yes, Slovenia is no joke if they've got Luka as well. Australia is bringing in a stacked team with Josh Giddey, Paddy Mills, um, Joe Ingles, Josh Green, Dyson Daniels, Matisse Thybulle. So I'm hoping Australia can make some noise as well. So that's going to be good. Lithuania, we can't forget bringing in Valanciunas, bringing in Rokas. So let's see what Rokas looks like. He's the starting. I think he's the starting point guard for Lithuania right now. Yeah, Franz Wagner are going to have a big season coming up too with Orlando. Yeah, Nick Yak. Yeah, this could be comment of the night. Yeah. Hopefully Fournier continues to play well for France. He lights it up, 40 piece, shoots 8 of 8 from deep, and a contender is like, okay, we'll take his expiring salary, take a couple of draft picks. With that said, look, I know it's a controversial topic, but I really think like Fournier deserved some minutes in the playoffs. We know his deficiencies, but I think in the playoffs, you just live with it. You need shot making. No one in franchise history could shoot the ball like Evan Fournier can. That skill set doesn't just disappear, I feel. And even for 8 minutes in a game in Miami on the road, when you're struggling to when Brunson's sitting and you need a bucket, I think that's Tom Thibodeau. For me personally, that's Thibs' clear weakness is his ability to manage a longer roster. You know, as evidence, he overplayed Hart too much. He could love a guy like Hart so much that he overplays him. See, Hart in a sweet spot, 23, 25 minutes is good. There's a reason he's a role player. You play Josh Hart in an increased role and you get mixed results. The same thing in Evan Fournier in small doses, 12 minutes, 7 minutes could give you something, could swish a couple of threes. And I know Deuce McBride, I'm high on Deuce McBride. For a regular season guy, absolutely develop Deuce McBride over Evan Fournier. But for me personally, in the playoffs, it's a different story. We saw what Deuce looked like in the playoffs. It wasn't pretty. Hell, we saw what Emmanuel Quickly looked like in the playoffs. That wasn't pretty either. So I'm saying like a veteran is a veteran, especially if they're a 3-point marksman. What do you guys think about that? I know it's controversial, and I don't think it. I think you can make a case for like not playing Fournier. So I don't think it's so cut and dried in terms of Fournier gives up a lot defensively, but I just feel like in a very limited minute situation, it's not going to cost you a game, from that perspective. Also, just the way he trashed Fournier and said, "I'm never playing you." Like it's okay to take the player out of your rotation and then play them sporadically, but when Thibs takes a dude out of his rotation, it's like he has something against them, and even when you're down to 7 men, and you never play them again, it's got to be something more than that personal. Inexcusable not to find any time at all for Fournier. Yep, Thibs has tunnel vision. Yeah, I agree with that, fam. Yep. Especially when you needed some spacing, some scoring. Also, Fournier does put the ball on the floor. He can create a little bit. He can assist as well. Again, like I said, in limited minutes, limited doses. Nick Yak says he worried about the D in the playoffs, but he should have played. Yep. So you guys agree a little? Yep. I'm not saying every game too. You got to assess the situation. You call these players situational for a reason. That means knowing the situation when you got to play them. Right? Deuce McBride, can't bring the ball up the court for a couple straight possessions, get stripped, couple turnovers, the run starts. Okay, how do I get Jalen Brunson some breather? Let's bring on a veteran for 5 minutes, see what he can do, kind of thing. But it was good to get Deuce that experience. So yeah, completely agree with that situation. Uh, about this FIBA, it's all about that experience too. This will lead into the Olympics, and no doubt, if RJ Barrett plays well, he'll be, he would probably feature in Canada's Olympic team. So that's 2 straight years, 2 straight seasons that Barrett could could be getting some valuable FIBA reps also with this team. And who knows, Jalen Brunson might be the starting point guard for the New York Knicks in the Olympics. Obviously, going to depend on who puts their hand up, whether it's like Steph Curry, Dame. Um, who else might put their hand up again? I could see Anthony Edwards sticking. Let me bring it up. Who else could I see staying for next year? I could see Brandon Ingram staying if he performs well. I could see Mikal Bridges staying. I think the big men would probably go. I think you'd have to bring in Anthony Davis if he wants to play. I don't know who else. You might bring in an Evan Mobley, perhaps. Maybe an Evan Mobley replaces the Bobby Portis. Outside of Anthony Davis, Bam. That's right, Bam Adebayo. I think those two dudes would have to probably be the best USA big men. Yeah. They weren't, yeah. Same reason Cam didn't play, because they weren't in the long-term minute plans in a developmental year. Yep. I could agree with that. I just think, yeah, the way Thibs managed it, out of two playoff series that went 5 and 6 games, we didn't see one single minute of Evan Fournier. Duncan Robinson, on the flip side, was dusted off, played his best ball of the season. Spo got him in there, and he was able to produce as well. Yeah, I just think, yeah, Evan Fournier is not so much a regular season player, but on a team that was losing a lot of production. Let's not forget, we had a hampered JB, we had no Emmanuel Quickley. We needed something. Like, Deuce McBride is a perfect complement for our regular season team when you had Emmanuel Quickley balling out, scoring his 18 points. But you subtract Emmanuel Quickley's points and him from the rotation, and Thibs was hoping to get by with Obi Toppin, Deuce McBride, and Josh Hart off the bench, hoping that they could magically score points. A leopard don't change its spots. In that instance, I think, again, it would have been different if Quickley was healthy, but ideally that's what you have a roster for. One skill set goes down, and you try to replace that with somebody who has a similar skill set with scoring, with shooting. But yeah, we could debate for hours, on that situation with the Heat series and the way the Knicks lost. I've put it in the past now. We move forward, but I just think the all signs are pointing to Evan Fournier is going to be gone before a training camp. I just think about the way Thibs mishandled that situation also, and the way he's done it with Cam, the way he's done it with Kemba Walker. Not saying not playing them is the issue. It's the handling of it as well, and not being open to playing them at all as well. The way he handles the situation. But I do think Evan Fournier is going to get traded before the start of the season. So what does that mean for this roster moving forward? It's definitely not done by any means. There is a lot of things in flux still. We'll chop it up and then we'll wrap this thing up. But yeah, reports, back it up that the Knicks are having ongoing discussions with other teams about Evan Fournier, and we'll see how the other teams around the league value him moving ahead. But I think the fact is that the Knicks have a lot of decisions to make still. Decisions in terms of who's going to make this final squad, who's going to make up the two ways. We've got one more Summer League game remaining. So starting from the two-way spots, to me, Jalen Martin has been an absolute plus. Locks up one of the two-way spots. The other two-way spot should go to Jacob Toppin, even though we haven't seen him. I think there's enough we will see from him to be intrigued to give him a two-way. And then I think Jalen Martin, I think Charlie Brown should get the third one. And then I think Trevor Keels, Dwayne Washington get cut. I think Isaiah Roby and Daquan Jeffries make the regular roster, depending on what happens with the Fournier deal, obviously, and who else we want to sign, and we want to get up in here. But for the most part, the rotation's set. Unless we add a Kelly Oubre, PJ Washington, Christian Wood, someone like that, I don't see other people forcing their way into the rotation. Even if it was a Doug McDermott swap with Fournier, I think Doug would just go to situational as well. He might play a little bit of minutes over Roby. He might play the 3, maybe Josh Hart at the 4. But thinking about how Tom Thibodeau thinks, it's going to be Josh Hart expected to play a lot of the minutes at the 4, with maybe Isaiah Roby as that emergency backup. 9-man rotation, and then some nights maybe go to 10. But I think Isaiah Roby has done enough around the league to keep him on a regular roster spot, with the size, the length, the shooting that he could bring, having 2 solid summer league games as well. Adding Dante and JF, if we get Roby best, we are a better team. Yep, I agree. Roby's that wild card, of course. He adds the skill set to the roster that we need. 6'8", a power forward, all of those things that Obi had on this team as well. And just summing up what you asked as well with the 9-man rotation, who's the backup for? I would say it's Josh Hart. I would say ideally Thibs' 9-man look is you take out Roby and you just shuffle Josh Hart up one slot, and Dante DiVincenzo and quickly running the backcourt, and Hart and iHeart being the combo front court with that situation. But they might still consider, not knowing what they think, they might still consider Jericho Sims as a viable backup 4. They might even, or iHeart at the backup 4 with Jericho playing 5 minutes. They might like what they've seen in Dimitrijev Skapansek as a dude who could still come in, maybe play some 4 with his passing game, with his rebounding and passing. I also think basically there's so few minutes to go around that, we know Julius Randle's going to play 38 minutes, 40 minutes. RJ Barrett can also play the 4. I don't think they're at a point where they're stressing about it. I don't think they're worried too much about it. As long as they've got enough bodies that can play the 4 in a case of an emergency. Obi didn't get a lot of minutes anyways. But for me, ideally, someone who does play the 4 should be able to shoot. I think floor spacing needs to be there with the second unit. iHeart hasn't shot the ball from deep as well as we hoped, or he hasn't really taken a lot of attempts because he wasn't shooting particularly well. But but Roby can do that. Dante can do that. I think Barrett could be a solid stretch small ball 4 if he is playing. But Josh Hart's shooting at the 4 is questionable. Jason Salute. How about Taj back on the cheaper contract as a backup 4? That's on the table. I feel that's something being considered 100%. Taj hasn't retired yet. He's still a free agent. He's not with Washington as well, so he's available. I think they're working their way through the options first. Him being like maybe the last option. Maybe options above him are what we do in a Fournier trade. Fournier trade, clear up some extra money, then we can actually go for a bigger name, like a Washington, Christian Wood, Kelly Oubre, someone like that. Maybe another veteran, Gorgie Jang, Dwayne Dedman, some of these other guys as well. So yeah, I think they're waiting to see. The hold up at the moment is the James Harden situation. That's holding up the entire league and free agency still, and that's going to continue to drag out. Dame, Portland are well within their situation to wait to get the best they can for Dame. It's going to be a done deal. It's going to get done. They're just smart about it. They're going to wait to the very last minute or till Heat pony up everything they possibly can. That's shuffling some of these pick protections and making sure that they send Portland at least 3 first-round picks, I think, or 4, hopefully. Maybe some pick swaps, and then you're talking about sending Tyler Hero to another team because Portland don't want Tyler Hero. That's the hold up too. Tyler Hero's the best outgoing piece in the deal, but it's an issue when Portland don't want him. They already got Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons. What are they going to do with Tyler Hero? So I think Tyler Hero is going to get flipped to a third team, maybe Brooklyn. Maybe Brooklyn are trying to get out of. They're trying to send Ben Simmons, but I don't know if Portland will even consider that. Let's see. I think what I'm hearing is they're trying to trade Ben Simmons somehow. But let's see. Ben Simmons tried to work his way into shape. He's still rehabbing the back. He was in the mix to make the Team Australia FIBA squad, but he's been unsuccessful. He's withdrawn from the Australian FIBA team. So another off season of question marks for Ben Simmons. Let's see what happens with that. Again, a player that can't shoot. It's 2023, right? Players that can't shoot, they got to be elite at other things. Otherwise, they're going to start to fall out of the league. A lot of players. Remember Andre Drummond at one point was going to earn the bag. He was going to earn like $100 million contract, but he cannot shoot. We see an elite rim protector rebounder like Mitch, who's earning probably the maximum an NBA team is going to value that at 15 mil. That those days of a big man earning 30, 40, 60 mil are only going to be saved for dudes like Karl Towns that can shoot, Anthony Davis that can shoot, Jaren Jackson, Bam Adebayo, those kind of bigs. Boogie Cousins in his prime. When Boogie was healthy and legit, he was a $40 million guy because he could put it on the floor, he could create, pass, shoot, he could do a bit of everything. But yeah, I think a player like Mitchell Robinson, who is a defensive specialist, is going to cap out at 15 to 20 mil around the league. If you can't shoot, you're not going to earn more than 20 mil. Hell, even Christian Wood, is finding a hard time trying to find the money that he was hoping, you know. Yeah, and a joker, of course. Yeah, but yeah, Christian Wood, 2 years ago I would have said, oh yeah, he could be a guy who would find his way on a max, but that's proving to be difficult now as well. Um, Jericho Sims is a situation where yeah, there's a bit of skill set double up, man, with iHeart and Mitch. Um, in fact, these aren't reports, but there's some rumors that I've heard online that the Knicks are open to trading one of their three centers to get a different kind of big man. So I like Jericho Sims. He's obviously a hit for a 58th pick. But if you're not a demon defensively and you don't have an offensive game, you're expendable. That's just the way it goes. You're expendable. You always got to ask yourself this about a player. Late in a game 7 of a playoff battle, is this a player that I could play on the floor? Late, do you have a skill set, whether it's excellent defensively or excellent offensively? Do you have a skill that's going to allow me to play you in a late playoff game? Mitch stepped up big, hit some clutch free throws for us, and was obviously excellent defensively. So he found himself minutes. But if you're inconsistent like Sims, and you're not a shooter or scorer or passer like that, I think Sims might just cap out at a backup big regular season kind of guy. That maybe we could get some trade value, some assets back for Sims. Let's see. But as we get ready to wrap this thing up, right? The Knicks are 2-2 in their summer league action, and we'll continue this coverage and chop it up with the best chat in the biz tomorrow night. It'll be Saturday night Knicks, the final game of summer league. Who do we see? Does Jalen Martin come back, or is he shut down permanently for summer league? I'm leaning towards his shutdown. Charlie Brown might be shut down after tonight's performance. 44% for the team shooting. Charlie Brown lit it up with his 27 points. I want to see Isaiah Roby play tomorrow night, hopefully. Featured, put up all the shots. They'll probably get Trevor Keels, right? No days off for Trevor Keels and his minutes, because he's still being evaluated. What does it tell you about us when they close the player down, like Charlie Brown, Jalen Martin? It means they might have seen enough of what they needed to see. Skepinsev, I would love to see some more from him tomorrow night as well. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be on post-game straight after as well. I appreciate you all in the chat. Replay gang, the streets is buzzing. Salute to Knicks Nation out here. There's more off-season buzz. The Knicks aren't done. The Knicks have still got to move in them. I think it's the Fournier situation, and we're waiting on the rest of the league with this Dame situation. And man, is it going to heat up. We're going to talk about our Eastern Conference, outlooks, forecast, when all of these rosters are settled. Because if Dame finds his way to Miami, can you imagine the battles, we're going to be having with the Miami Heat, Jimmy Buckets, Bam. But it's a good thing we did bring in DiVincenzo, some kind of upgrade, because the rest of the league is getting better. And you can't stand still. You got to keep getting better and better with that situation. The Knicks win tonight, 2-2 in the summer league. Trevor Keels' best performance. Let's see what he does tomorrow night. But Charlie Brown stole the show. I salute everyone for rocking along. Peace out. Have a great rest of the evening. Thank God it's Friday. Salute. Peace.